Whatever you want to ask him. He's here.
Kabisa.
Governor, and you don't fear these questions, right? I mean, they do this all. You do this all the time.
All the time, and you must be accountable to your electorate. You must respond to the questions. You must explain the context.
Yeah.
And when you're on the driver's seat, remember I was senator before.
Yes.
I was an MP.
And you were a very good senator, by the way. We liked it when you were senator.
Thank you.
But you became a disappointment as governor so far.
No. And I'll explain. A lot of people are extremely happy with what's happening. It depends on where you look at it from. If you go to the wards, if you look at the children, if you look at our health, and the city needs certain structural issues done. Remember, we didn't start we inherited a county with a lot of issues. And so the first thing you do is you stabilize it. You create harmony. Remember, every 3-4 months there'd be fights. There were gunshots, in the assembly. There was a police post in there. You remember the issues of Mafirifiri, and the speaker gets out, the governor. And so you first stabilize that, and you establish cadences. You establish a rhythm of a government, that is
Even
predictable.
Though you're the minority.
Yeah,
You're the minority.
But you must work. In Nairobi, I mean, the voters chose leaders from different parties, Azimio got the majority. Yeah. And you see, you have to now work with them. There was a lot of political friction before that. I'm sure you remember. And so that is settled now, for most part. Of course, once in a while, there'll always be an issue anywhere, but you find a way to... The first job is to manage the politics. Now, once you manage the politics, then you manage the services, And I'm happy with the progress in 2 years because, we asked for a 5-year term. You need that atmosphere to be able to get things moving.
But it looks like you're tiptoeing around your MCAs.
How so?
Because you're the minority. I mean, they can impeach you at any moment.
Most impeachments have been done where the governor has a majority, by the way. And in politically homogeneous counties. Yeah. It's not about that. It's how you create a relationship and an understanding. Because there's the immediacy of needs. People want things done now, today. And so you must manage that also working. So Nairobi needs a special set of skills. You must have the mind of a CEO, the heart of a social worker, the innocence of a dove, the shrewdness of a snake, the grit of a politician, all in one day. There's a fire here, there's medicine required in this hospital, there's a road that has a pothole, there's water that you must provide, yet you must also balance the politics, and then also you're a human being. So you must balance all of that.
All right, let's start with roads.
With the roads.
Roads are a mess.
There's been a big issue with the roads.
From Syokimau.
Yeah. And so let me give you some context around that as well. So there's a division of functions, number one, between national government and county government. And roads are classified. If anyone goes online, you'll see what are national roads, county roads, international roads, like Uhuru Highway, Mombasa Road. That's an international, trunk road, and it's classified as A. And so that work is under the national government. So I've seen many photos of, cars flying off Jogoo Road, etc., saying Sakaja, the dimples are on the roads instead of your face. And I understand, the Nairobian doesn't want to know whose road it is. I don't have the resources for that road, for instance, for Jogoo Road, for Agrinskovek, for many of these roads.
You don't?
No, those are national roads. And so that is why I reached out to the president. The president understood and said, look, let's come together. The law provides, the Urban Areas and Cities Act, that for infrastructure in the capital, there must be a cooperation between the national government and the county government. So most of those roads are actually not county roads, but we've agreed. In fact, just today, we had a meeting with the president and C.S. Davis Churchill and Kura and Kenha, and agreed what needs to be done now, immediately, to get around, and I'm very happy and I'm grateful to the president. We've gotten around 5 billion, to sort out the CBD roads, to sort out, they issued a tender on Jogoo Road, under Kura,
Syokimau,
Soweto Road, the road for Syokimau, Uhuru Highway, I did a tour with the minister last Monday, because there's a contractor who's been on site. Contracted by Kenha, not by the county. There are two contractors. So there are two sections. One as you get into Nairobi from the westland side up until Ole Sereni, and another one from there up to Athi River. We did like 6 hours on the road and said this needs to be done. That's the entry point of the city. And so if you see some sections, there's milling of the road has been done. There's new tarmac that's been put on. We said we must do landscaping, on the sides of the road, under the expressway. We must make sure there's, some beautiful elements, flowers, grass, or whatever it is that can survive without direct sunlight. And are you also urging them to do work at night? Yes. Don't do it during the daytime. Don't inconvenience us. So the contractor on this other side has been working at night. Chiromo side. The contractor on the other side, from Ole Sereni, has been doing work during the day. And I've asked them, please, what's his name? No, it's the company is called Wolf. So Simba called. But we said, look, let's agree that this must be sorted out. I've seen complaints on Chania Avenue, Kindaruma, and Wood Avenue. Wood. Those ones, I take responsibility. That's yours. It's a county road. The problem is that tarmac had been done on black cotton soil. And so we said, look, instead of doing patches, because you do a patch, that road has been a mess for a long, I used to live there, for a long time. Patchwork is done after 2 months, it's a mess. And so what we've agreed to do is full reconstruction of those roads, full reconstruction from the base level, hard parking, and put proper tarmac. Gitanga Road? Gitanga Road is under Kura as well, but we've agreed. I mean, these Kura people. And I don't want to blame them, because you see what happens, and that's why the Council of Governors is in court, because the Road Maintenance Levy Fund, collects a levy on every single user of petroleum products. And it's supposed to be for roads maintenance. Correct. But that money is not given to counties. So I don't have the money for maintenance of the roads. It's given to national government through MPs. The MPs have some roads. And so you see what happens is that a member of parliament, and I really work well with mine, for most part, when you give an MP money for those roads or through CDF, no one is going to do Jogo Road, because too many constituencies touch it. They'll take it mashinani. And I don't blame them. Dagoretti North would hardly do Agwins Kovek or Gitanga. They'll go into Kawangware. The Westlands guy will go to Kangemi. He will not do Westlands roundabout in that area. And so because of that, we are making a case as Council of Governors that roads that connect sub-counties, that money needs to go to the counties to maintain those roads. If you go to the wards, you will see amazing work done on roads. If you look at the before and after, because we have ward-based projects, so we assign money to each ward. The highest before was 200 million in 2017. In the first year, I did 735 million. In the second year, I did 950 million, worth of those roads. If you go to Korogosho and see the roads done there, if you go to, even in Kilimani, if you look at behind Oleodume Road, if you look at, so many of them have been done, and we continue to pay that. But counties need road maintenance levy fund. Your friend in Nambakasi East is saying that the roads are horrible in Nambakasi. He should tell us what he's doing with this RMLF. And one of the roads that I made a case to be sorted out when we visited with the president was the Soweto Road. Soweto around Jacaranda, and it's been tendered already. Kura has tendered it, that Jogo Road and Landis Road, and it's going to be done. So as a leader, I don't want to shift the blame to the national government, but I want to draw the context that there is a separation. But now for the capital, it must be special. And that is why even the Attorney General was there today. We said, look, let's do this cooperation agreement that then gives us the resources, because this is a seat of the national government. It is a diplomatic hub. Everybody wants to be in Nairobi. Correct. Diplomats who come, the term of service is done, but they want to stay in Nairobi. Even after. And God has blessed us with the gift of location. From Schiphol in Amsterdam, you're here in 8 hours. From London, Heathrow, you're here in 8 hours. Dubai, 5 hours. That's right. From New York, here to New York is 14. New York to here is 11, it's shorter.
Coming back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But then you get stuck in traffic for 4 hours. And so I've been pushing certain things like the BRT.
Let's talk about that BRT because
it was stuck. There was an agreement stuck.
That lipstick was
cabinet, the national government cabinet, just passed the day before yesterday. Actually, yesterday. Sorry, the funding we've gotten 320 million euros
from the European Union
European Union, European Investment Bank, and the French Development Agency to do line 3. Line 3 comes from Dandora all the way to Kenyatta in the first phase, 12 kilometers. And then it will move to Tala and then up to Ngong. Line 1 is also being funded by Namata. And that is why if you look, for instance, at an agency like Namata is a national agency, but the chair of the council is a minister, the vice chair is the governor of Nairobi, in as much as it has all these other counties. And so it's just putting impetus into these structures that had been set up that they must work for the people. And so I represent the people of Nairobi, and so I must also push a bargain, on their behalf with the national government to make sure that we work together, we sort out infrastructure. And this coming, in the next few months, next year, you will see a huge difference.
It's going to be working?
It's lazima work. I was in Addis over the weekend.
Yeah. I mean,
and if you look at
everything works there.
Not everything, but a lot. If you look at the roads and the kind of lights they've done, and I have a challenge. I've done lights, more than 10,000. But unafanya taa leo, tomorrow it's vandalized. Somebody steals it. You put a bin, it is stolen. You put manhole covers. And so we've agreed as well today an anti-vandalism, protection of public infrastructure, a special unit within the police to actually say it's a criminal offense. It's like murder. Because the money used to do that work is from hard-working taxpayers. And so I put lights, like I did the whole of Ngong Road, especially the part from Junction to Karen. Then after 2 days, cables are out, lamps are out.
Gone.
And so
and
the police no accountability. And so the police must patrol to take care of this public infrastructure. Just the other day, Kura engineers and team were stabbed on Outer Ring Road, which is a road under them. But they're stabbed by people who come in to steal lights, on Outer Ring Road. They were attacked because they don't have, they don't have guns. They're not the police. And so I've spoken to the Inspector General. I've spoken to Adamson Bungei, the regional commander, that we must protect this infrastructure.
Let's come back to BRT.
Yes.
When should we expect it to roll out?
Well,
are you going to paint more pink lipstick on the roads in January?
I'm not to say that because that was done in the last administration.
Correct.
Until I got a presentation to explain how it works. I have a good friend called Enrique Penalosa. He was the mayor of Bogota in Colombia. He did the Transmillennial. And if you look at what it provides, first of all, those lanes in the middle, of the road are going to be, you cannot access on a private vehicle. So it's a direct expressway for public transport vehicles of high capacity. They're going to be like depots at Kasarani, for instance. The matatus drop people there, and they get into this, big buses that beats traffic, cuts time, and there are stations that are being built, above the line. It's a model that works. There's 5 lines in Nairobi. There's Kifaru, Ndovu, Nyati, Simba. Being financed differently, I was able to, really ask for support, and we got it with the national government from Africa Development Bank for the Jogo Road line. There's Outer Ring Road line. The Railway City is going to be one of the hubs. That is a solution to our traffic, number one. Then later, we can do the metro, because you need a metro underground.
Underground?
Yeah. The metro is a bit expensive. It takes time.
And we have a swamp down there.
Well, the studies that have been done, JICA did a study. We actually have areas that you can do a proper metro in the city. The TBM machine, tunnel burrowing, machine, once it's deployed, every day, makes progress. And so what happened is this: during the Africa Climate Summit, one of the ministers who came from France, her name is Crisula. I took her to Kibera to, feed kids, etc. And then I visited in Paris. And she said, you know what, Sakaja, we are supporting Abidjan with 3 billion euros for their metro. And now we're looking beyond Francophone countries. Why don't you try and push for that support? And that's something I'm working on.
Wow.
So that we can get support. You remember, we have resource challenges as a country and as a county. I'm glad that we've been able to raise our revenue beyond, historical figures. We've raised the highest revenue ever in devolution. In the last financial year, we did close to 13 billion.
But you have recurrent...
12.8 billion. Of course, the salaries are also quite high. Because Nairobi is a service county. You need to see guys out there, cleaning. You need nurses, you need doctors. We're serving 7 million people during the day. 5 million at night.
Every day.
Every single day. And so because of that, we need to be creative in how we finance the city. And so we're working on things. A colleague showed me what he did with Cape Town with a municipal bond. We've done a feasibility and a study FSD did for us on our green bond for Nairobi. And so we must get creative. If we depend on what we collect every day, I'll just be a glorified cashier, just paying salaries, and things need to be done.
Speaking of collection,